Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Welcome everybody to the Sufina Society Nothing But Facts live stream on a Scorcher. A really subhanAllah, humid and scorching day. And I remember in college there used to be these types of days early in September. And then usually it dissipates by mid-September, so I would expect everything to dissipate a bit by the middle of September, but this is some heavy business right here. Now let us read, okay? Sheikh Hatim al-Hajj, what's that? The heat wave, subhanAllah, Shay'un Najib. But it's also the humidity on top of that. Let's read Sheikh Hatim al-Hajj. We all know who Sheikh Hatim al-Hajj is, right? A highly respected scholar. And he's from down the road. Let's see what is the ruling on ikhtilat. And what is the meaning and definition of ikhtilat? Okay, ikhtilat is when men and women are... Ikhtilat means mixing something, but what is the nature of this mixing? Okay. He said it's an intricate subject because there's no singular comprehensive jami' mana definition for ikhtilat. As we said, it seems to be like we mentioned this earlier, and we mentioned what the Maliki scholars said is haram, and what they said is makruh that could lead to haram. Okay. There is no neither necessary nor sufficient definition for conceptualization. All right, so you're going to have to add to the nature of the ikhtilat in order to talk about it and give it a ruling. Again, ikhtilat refers to mixing between men and women. Okay. One could argue that ikhtilat refers to men and women congregating in close physical proximity. Well, again, what is close physical proximity? You got to give something objective. Okay. That which enables hearing and seeing. All right. But this is also, he says, difficult to issue a generalized ruling on. All right, so what exactly is the subject of contention when we debate ikhtilat? Does the term refer to men and women convening in a single location, or is it restricted to verbal interactions? Is it about a particular kind of dialogue, mutual participation in an event, shared dining experience, or joining attendance at educational sessions? Are all individuals subjected to the same criteria? Does age factor into this, differentiating between adolescents and the elderly? So these are all the details that need to be fleshed out. How does the setting and place influence the permissibility of such interactions? Is there a distinction to be made between masajid, private homes, and commercial places? All right, commercial places. Throw me that real quick. Is that mine? No, yes. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you go to ShopRite. You go to Tesco. That's what do we do about? Obviously, that's out of our control either way. But do we deem that to be ikhtilat, where, or homes when someone comes to the home, right? Is that a different ruling? So he's going to cover this. In other words, should the following factors have an impact on the ruling? Intent, behavior, nature of interaction, setting of the interaction, necessity of the interaction, types of individuals involved, and cultural and social norms. Common sense in various hadiths would seem to imply that, unless needed, such gatherings should be avoided to separate between the trial and the tried. Okay. Nonetheless, the authentic sunnah and the practices of the righteous predecessors established that various forms of intermingling happened and are permissible when needed. The multitudes of permitted interactions and the multiplicity of contexts that permit them require a nuanced response to the question of gender mixing, particularly when a definitive universal definition remains elusive. In a single work, it is not uncommon to find a scholar articulating in one place that intermingling is permitted, provided there is no seclusion, while elsewhere labeling it as a reprehensible practice. This underscores the notion that the ruling of intermingling is not absolute, rather it is conditional and subject to the variables above. So what Sheikh Mahmoud taught us, what he said is that the clear prohibition is on the intermingling that involves the talasuq al-abdan, the touching of bodies. That, there's no discussion on it. And the intermingling that can now enter between halal and makruh is that in which they could look at each other and stare at each other and become attracted to one another, or speak in what matters that are not important, etc. So there are certain guidelines that should remain uncontested. Seclusion between men and women. A man and a woman in our religion, they don't enter the same room by themselves, or the same, or not even just room. Anywhere where intimacy could take place. For example, meet me at a field, and the field is outside of everyone's view. It's khalwa, right? So in our fiqh, at least I could tell you in the Maliki school, that would be considered reprehensible. Then that would be considered ikhtilat, or forbidden. So like, go meet me at a field, and no one's there at the field except us, and nobody could see us. Intimacy could happen there, and nobody would see it, right? So that would also be included in that. Keeping the awrah covered, no discussion on keeping the awrah covered. Prohibition of physical contact. What is the awrah of a man is from his navel to his knee. And it's a myth that the Malikis allow the thigh to be shown. There is an opinion that is makruh, but that's a weak opinion. The actual opinion is the prohibition of the... so now come sit here so you can talk with Islam. The thigh to be shown without a reason. So players who play sports, they should wear leggings, or what are they called? What are they called? Compression pants under, all right, their shorts. The awrah of a woman is her hair, including her hair. The hijab should cover the chest, and then it goes down to covers to the wrist and to the ankles. Okay. Keeping the awrah covered. Prohibition of physical contact. You can't touch. Prohibition of mixed crowds and bodily touching. That's what we talk about. Iltisaqul abdan. Mixed crowds. Okay. Skip that picture because it's just like crooked. Lowering the gaze is an obligation. Refraining from indecency and frivolous conduct. Okay, that's probably going to be, different between cultures. All these who took the pictures? Someone who's crooked? We're preparing a slideshow for you all. And I asked the guys to bring me pictures. The pictures are like this. You guys took the picture like this? I mean, some of the pictures are really good, but some of them you wonder what's going on with the person. Next, there should be an observance of qarar, which encourages women to prioritize their homes and minimize unnecessary outings, bearing in mind that female companions did go to the masjid. They did, particularly for the 3 prayers performed during the night. And some even managed their priorities without receiving any censure. This complex topic, therefore, cannot be reduced to a single straightforward ruling. I have follow-up posts, he said. And Naz has a comment. Let's go to Nazmul, our own guy, Naz, who came on the stream. We need to clip that out. By the way, do you know how to clip stuff out? Yeah, Mr. Abbasi? We'll clip that out and make it a special, its own, how kalam increases iman. Naz says, thank you for this post, Sheikh. I have a question about what you said, that from the Taymiyyan perspective, definitions are not sufficient for conceptualization. On this view, wouldn't the principles you listed when intermixing between genders be up for discussion as well? Could we now say the definitions for khalwa, for awrah, and what counts as blameworthy physical contact, and what counts as a crowd or a gaze, and so on, are all basically speculative definitions that one doesn't need to abide by? All right? Even though our fiqh tradition had provided such definitions? How would we respond to such an objection? Of course, he doesn't believe that, but he's saying, how would we respond to that objection? Okay. Jazakallah khair wa hafidhakallah. Let's see if he responds it. No, I'm reading his post. Someone sent me his post. All right. All right, because it's an important subject. And let me tell you where else it's important. Funerals. The funerals have become mixed gatherings, and their bodies do this very close. And the way that a woman, can she attend a funeral? She can attend a funeral in the correct way, which is, I'll tell you how. They do not attend the actual burial element, and they wait until, right, the burial is done, then they could come in. After all the men go aside. That's how it should be. Post number 2 on the intermixing of men and women and the study of logic. If you've read the preceding post on the subject, you might be pondering its implication. That post was not designed to suggest that Islam lacks guidance on this critical facet of human activity. On the contrary, the 7 guidelines discussed form the bedrock of Islamic guidance in this domain, which I totally agree with. The post also contained the following assertion: common sense and various hadiths seem to suggest that unless there is a need, such gatherings should be avoided to separate between the trial and the tried. Okay, we are the tried. We're human beings. We're tested, right? Okay. So why did the title feature the phrase ruling on ikhtilat? None. I thought my reading of it was ruling on how much ikhtilat is allowed. None. That's actually what I understood on it, rather than there is no ruling on it. There is ruling on ikhtilat. Zahra Zahiri says, can you please talk about hijab? There are people taking it off, and I'm considering to as well. Could you go up on Instagram, or just scroll up? All right. Shaitan whispering. Well, what you need, I'll tell you what you need. And I see these people all the time who are extremely talented in a certain field. Like they could be doctors. Yet they go and struggle in something very simple, right? Or like, for example, I know somebody who probably studied, no less than 10 hours a day in a certain point of his life, right? But he can't recite a wird, right? There's 2 things for that. Number 1, you could go the route of saying Shaitan doesn't care if you study medicine, but he does stop you from doing dhikr. You could say that. But let me tell you something even more practical and probably more close to what is true in the situation of people who cannot do awrad. Like I know a surgeon, he can't do a wird. Like, bro, it's 5 minutes in the car, he can't do it. Okay, I'll tell you why you can't do it. How is it that you went and became a surgeon and studied and did all that mountain of studying, all right, but you can't say a word? I'll tell you why. Because when you became a surgeon, you went to medical school, you were surrounded with a bunch of other doctors and other people studying 8 hours a day. And because you were surrounded by them, okay, it became an identity for you, and you took it on, and they helped you flow, right? Like if you're studying 8 hours a day and you're studying 8 hours a day, right? And my mom knows and my dad knows, so that, for example, if they say come to the party, I can't come, I'm studying, they all know about it. So you talked about it. These are all factors on getting something done. You spoke about it, you talk about it to the people that matter in your life so that they know this is what you're doing, right? Some people, they'll try to take on a wird, but what is a wird? It's a set of prayers at the end of the day that you recite. That's it. Or at the beginning of the day. Now, if the people in your household do not know that you're committed to this, they'll keep interrupting you. They don't understand, why are you going in a room by yourself, right? Why are you not talking? Even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? Many, many people, they don't understand the need sometimes for someone to be alone. As a result of that, these people only find solace in the bathrooms. It's sad. Hey, Ali, could you do me a favor and turn that towards the wall? That light bothers me. Always bothers me. That white light is something. Just make sure it doesn't block the TV. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep turning it. Keep turning it. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, because it's in my eyes and my face. So they don't know that you're committed. So they're not supportive of it. Secondly, any time that you're all alone doing something, you're just facing all the pressure by yourself. Why? When you went to medical school, study 8 hours a day, reason being is that there's 800 other people in the building. And the whole environment, the ecosystem is encouraging this. They create spaces for this study, right? So likewise, in order to do something and make it part of your life, you need these things. The space to do it. You need to inform the stakeholders of your life, the people who are important in your life. This is I do this, right? This is what I'm doing. And you need to have friends who do it. So that it's something that is, even if it's a solitary thing, but we all know that we do it, right? That's the reason why some people succeed greatly in one field, but not in another. In any event, rest assured, this was not clickbait, but rather a means to underscore a specific point. They need to abandon fuzzy thinking and futile debates. If you argue about a ruling of a term that you can't adequately define, you're engaging in the most unproductive exercise. If you believe that disagreements on these issues are solely Western and don't exist among scholars in the heartlands, then you effectively sideline yourself from meaningful dialogue. This is a level of ignorance and or dishonesty that may require therapy. I've never seen him be funny. I've never seen him say a comment that's hilarious like this. That you need therapy rather than simple persuasive discussion. If the definition you propose doesn't achieve consensus among the participants, it's ineffective, right? If it incorporates extraneous factors not inherent to ikhtilat, like touching and improper speech, it's ill-conceived. If a mixed gathering of elderly men and women in the lobby of a mosque doesn't concern you, then proclaiming ikhtilat as haram is inconsistent. Similarly, if the meeting of adolescent boys and girls in an apartment for study before finals troubles you, declaring ikhtilat as halal is also inconsistent. If you will qualify some scenario as proper or improper, then the point of the previous post is that you should avoid making categorical rulings. This leads us to the relevance of logic. Yes, I'm a big fan of logic. Yeah, because it sets things down right? It sets it in, and I feel like it bolting into cement, right? When you use your aql, that's what Allah gave us the aql for, so we could know how to navigate and have certainty. In a prior post, I mentioned that the importance of logic lies somewhere between Imam al-Ghazali's enthusiastic endorsement and Ibn Taymiyyah's reservations. Adding to this, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah once observed, "The intelligent do not require it, and the unintelligent gain no benefit from it." That's pretty funny, actually. But then again, I would say no, because you could actually train someone to think logically. Even a very emotional person may fly off the handle with their emotions, but when it's time to make a decision about day-to-day life, right, a really important decision, we need to think logically, okay? And you can train someone to think logically. And one of the basics is when you speak, what is the meaning of words that you guys say, okay? Had someone studied logic, they would know that there are two types of knowledge, tasawurat and tasdiqat. What is a tasawwur? Skip that picture, it's irrelevant to us. Yeah. We're taking pictures of those sisters for. Yeah, skip that picture completely. Huh? Why would someone zoom in and take that picture? Anyway, sorry for everybody. I'm doing two things at once. Okay. No, okay. What is a tasawwur? Tasawwur, the conceptualization of a thing. We're going to talk about something. All right. Let's conceptualize what we're talking about. And then a tasdiqat. A tasdiq is a claim that either says true or false. Okay. So before we talk about something, we have to get the correct conceptualization, the correct tasawwur. And we have to agree on that tasawwur. Okay? All right. The latter necessarily follows the former. For example, before you can assert or dissent, agree or disagree, or fact or fiction, or false, true or false, Zayd is standing. You must have a concept of who is Zayd, which Zayd, and what do you mean by standing? Okay. Yeah, and standing can be, for example, don't you see a car sign that says no stopping or standing, right? You see that for cars. So which standing are you talking about? Definitions, al-hudud, serve as the foundation for conceptualization. There exists extensive discourse on what constitutes a good definition, all right, which you may know ideally consists of a proximate genus, al-jins al-qarib, and a specific differentia, al-fasl. Ibn Taymiyyah contended that definitions are neither necessary nor sufficient for conceptualization. I think that's too much. That's gone too far. His arguments were compelling and have been embraced by many Enlightenment philosophers and modern logicians. However, he did not reject the fundamental utility of definitions. Because I'll tell you why I would not go with that is because pragmatically, practically, human beings use definitions, right? All the time. You can't go without it. And now, I don't know if he's talking about the use of definitions, but he says, in theory, he holds them to be neither sufficient nor necessary for conceptualization. And I really like to see, what exactly he means by that and how that applies to the law. In any event, we're not just going to go against it just because he's Ibn Taymiyyah on the subject of logic, but I genuinely wonder then how do you conceptualize if the definition is not sufficient? His arguments were compelling, he says, and they have been embraced. However, he did not fully reject the concept and the utility. See, that's what I mean, the utility. It's one thing to have a philosophical discussion on conceptualization and definitions. How we utilize them is another subject altogether, right? So he does not reject the utility of definitions that are jami' and mana. And a definition, you guys are Tullab al-Ilm at Dar al-Fath, you should know this. A definition must be jami' mana. You heard about this before? Okay. Jami', it means it's comprehensive to the essence of the thing. Mana', it excludes what is definitely not that thing. Basic summary of hasr, okay, is another word for it. So that, for example, if we were to say a book, we would say pages in a bind, right, between a bind with writing in it, right? Oh, well, what if it's just pictures? Is it still a book? Therefore, we have to remove that condition of having writing in it because it could be pictures, right? What if there's nothing on the pages? Is it a book? Right? We have to, so that's, what if it's pages with text, but there's no bind? Someone ripped the bind off and took the pages out. Then we say it's not a book. So the bind is necessary. So that's basically an example of making sure the definition is comprehensive and excludes everything that shouldn't be there. Someone who has studied logic might pause to consider a comprehensive and exclusive definition before entering a discussion about ikhtilat. Some smart people who have not studied logic may do the same. This observation aligns with Ibn Taymiyyah's view that the intellectually agile do not require logic to think clearly. Okay. Yeah, but I would still say that they still do need to hone it in, and a lot of people are not agile. They're maybe a little under agile, but they need that extra knowledge to dot the I's and cross the T's, right? To get to the to perfect it, basically. Okay. On the and then, by the way, it's very hard to make an assertion that there are intellectually agile people, right? What does that mean? And it's very hard to know that whether they need something or don't, right? So why don't we discuss that? I mean, to me, that is up for discussion. What is intellectually agile, and on what are we grading them? What is the basis of grading them? Aren't we grading them by the rules of logic, right? Like logic, the basic rules of logic would be the way to grade someone as intellectually agile or not, right? And by the way, I'm sure he's not making some massive, big, bold statement. It's probably just a statement in passing, right? So, on the other hand, those who have formally studied logic yet continue to commit errors exemplify Taymiyyah's assertion that the unintelligent will not benefit from logic. Again, it's just a passing remark, I think, because it's not a tight statement that, okay, so what is someone unintelligent? How do I assess that you're unintelligent? What is the scale of intelligence? Is not the scale of intelligence the correct way to use your intelligence? Yes. So then isn't that logic? Right? So I need to know exactly what is the scale by which to measure someone being intelligent or unintelligent, right? And that scale is what we call mantiq. Secondly, what about all the people in between? Most people are in between. Neither are they dumb, neither are they like geniuses, right? They're in between. And so logic, I think, will really hone them in, right, on how to think. Logic essentially is how to use your intellect properly. Of course, he says what seems overlooked in the statement is a substantial middle ground, individuals who are neither exceptionally smart nor particularly unintelligent, right, yet could greatly benefit from organizing their thoughts through the study of logic. By the way, just because someone doesn't benefit from it, does that bear on the science itself? Many people don't benefit from health when they took health class and they said these unsaturated fats are no good for you. Does that mean we should stop teaching it? Because all the teenagers, they keep going eating unsaturated fats, right? How about Jummah? You give Jummah khutbah and people go still living their lives normally without committing themselves to Allah and the deen. You just stop giving Jummah. So anyway, but I think I can't imagine for someone of his intelligence and knowledge that it's anything more than just a passing remark. I comprehend the Taymiyyun zeal in critiquing logicians. Many of their propositions are metaphysical and contradict Islamic perspectives. Furthermore, the overemphasis on the infallibility of ancient Greek logic, which he skillfully debunked, requires a more balanced approach. It may be time for a synthesis where Aristotelian logic, serving as a foundation for all subsequent development, is taught alongside the critiques from Taymiyyun thought and others. Okay. Returning to ikhtilat, why should we dissect established Islamic rulings in such a way? Firstly, what is established? Earlier fuqaha had extensive discussions about regulating interactions between men and women. However, you will not find a chapter, section, and subsection in their text specifically titled the ruling of ikhtilat. That's true. It's like a common thing, but you don't find it as a chapter in books of fiqh. This term, although popular today, was seldom mentioned by them. And when it was usually incidental. Yeah, because I think in their world, it wasn't an issue. They didn't imagine a mixed world the way we do. For instance, Imam al-Nawawi in his book Al-Majmu'ah said, since it has been established in a great number of authentic hadith that women used to pray behind Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his mosque behind the men, this is also because ikhtilat, intermixing of women with men, is, if not in seclusion, is not haram. Okay? He also, that's Imam al-Nawawi. He also said, among the repugnant innovations initiated by the common folk during these times is the lighting of candles on Mount Arafah on the night of the 9th. This is a gross error in which they have combined several types of offenses. Among them, ikhtilat of men and women when there are candles in their midst and their faces are clearly visible. Okay. So on one hand, he's saying, well, when they're in the masjid, they can go to the masjid and benefit. On the other hand, some reprehensible or innovation that has no need, and on top of that they're mixing, so there's no need for that. One has a reason to pray in the masjid and has a benefit, and they did it in the time of the Prophet. The other thing is completely reprehensible and has no need. It's not part of our deen to do this. Imam Nawawi stands as one of the most erudite scholars. Far from being contradictory, he addresses varying scenarios and trusts the astute reader to contextualize his statements appropriately. It's important to note that no real scholar would prohibit or endorse all scenarios that might be classified under any linguistic or otherwise interpretation of the term ikhtilat. In today's context, the responsibility for such contextualization is more pressing than ever, as contemporary readers may not be as well equipped as the readers of the Majmu'ah of Imam al-Nawawi, okay, in his time. He says, okay, now let's listen to this. One of the best ways to navigate things like this is to come and start to know and get to know the scholars in your locality who are reliable, who are not just imams. Because, by the way, let me tell you something. An imam is not necessarily in touch with the scholars all the time. And what you need is somebody who is in constant mulazama with the fuqaha. An imam may learn how to pray, how to marry, how to basic calculate zakah, and how to run a janazah, how to operate a janazah, right? And the imam many imams, they just put on autopilot for 40 years after that. They don't get involved in studying. I'm not even kidding with you. They may go to Hajj every year, so they know the Hajj rules inside out. But they are not in mulazama with fuqaha, constant discussion and constant study, okay, with the scholars. So that's the type of person who you may not, those types of people, especially in their far off areas where there would be no one to study anyway from them, oftentimes their knowledge and sometimes even the practice slowly just decays. It gets old and they don't revive it. And so little errors could creep in, and after a decade that becomes the law, the rule. Instead of a one-time exception and a mistake, it becomes the rule. So what you got to go out there, who's studying fiqh? Who cares about fiqh? And then you see how they live. Not just one person. But if you can isolate 4 different people who may not even be friends or from a different madhab even, right? That will give you an idea of what to do when things get fuzzy in the realm of fiqh. Okay? Now, who responds with who responds and objects to Sheikh Hatim's comment? Who do you think? Giving any possible room for ikhtilat, which in a sense we agree with Dr. Hatim, what he said, Imam Nawawi said. Daniel Hakikichu. Let's see what he says. Here are the statements of great ulama on the subject of ikhtilat. It's a miracle how all of them could easily convey the ahkam on the issue without circuitous. How do you pronounce that? Circuitous, and arcane digressions. These are not circuitous and arcane digressions. These are circuitous. Okay. These are not circuitous or arcane. They're actually very practical, right? There is a huge difference between a grandma going to enter in upon a doctor and her driver's in the car, and the doctor's a male and he closes the door, right? That's a big difference between somebody who goes into, let's say, I needed to go to someone's house, someone's apartment to pick up a book, right? And I asked to go into the house, use the bathroom or something, and lo and behold, it's me. It's a 20-year-old, two 20-year-old men and women in the apartment alone. There's a huge difference between one and the other. Nobody will see the old lady, 70-year-old lady, coming out of a doctor's room, okay, all alone with the doctor. No one's going to say that this is the same as if you were to see a woman coming out of a bachelor's apartment. Oh, there's all sorts of red flags there. Or vice versa. A man coming out of a bachelorette's apartment because maybe he assumed something that, oh, I thought her brother was there and I came to pick up a book. He wasn't, but I went in anyway and I went to use the bathroom and we ended up chit-chatting and then I left. Huge difference. So how could you say that's arcane and circuitous or whatever the word is? Let's read what he says, though. Abu Abdullah al-Halimi, one of the major early Shafi'i mujtahid, said, Allah says, O you who believe, protect yourselves and your families from the fire. Included in the totality of this is that a man protects his wife and daughter from mixing with men and conversing with them and being alone with them. Al-Mawardi, another major early Shafi'i authority, he said, a woman is forbidden from mixing with men and is ordered to stay in the house when there is no need to come out. Yes, these are quotes, but is it the totality of their commentary on the subject? For example, were they ever exposed to other subject matters or subcontexts in this topic? It's like if I took Imam Nawawi's comment on the innovation on the Yom of Arafah and used that as the proof, but not mentioning that the Sahabiyats went and prayed in the mosque with the Prophet, peace be upon him. It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be a correct assessment. Ash-Shirazi, Shafi'i, Jum'ah is not obligatory on a woman because of what Jabir radiallahu anhu narrated, that she may mix with men and this is haram. Al-Ghazali says, when the speaker is a non-elderly man, Shab, attractive in his dress and his appearance, and he can recite poems and he can make gestures and all that, and women attend his gathering, this is a munkar, okay, which must be prevented, since the corruption in this is greater than the benefit. It is obligatory to erect a screen that prevents seeing one another, and that is also an anticipated cause of corruption. All right, and he has a source here, and he has many more probably sources. Okay. All right, but this is a new post, so there are no comments to the comment, no replies yet to the comment. Let's refresh and see. But in general, I don't think anybody who there's no comments to the comment. Okay. Too bad I can't share it because I'm not logged in and I don't have I'm not on social media anymore. Okay. Here's another post. This is a good one, but it's too long. I'll read it another time. Islam and Manliness by Hatim al-Hajj, Sheikh Hatim al-Hajj. Okay, he has a lot of things. On women and trousers, pants. Okay. People may say, what are you reading? Yeah, well, we have a religion, so our religion has some rules to it. Okay. And they don't like the rules. They don't like to make fun of our rules. You got plenty of stuff too in other cultures that could also be mocked. So that's not an argument. Mockery is never an argument, and disgust is never an argument. And disgust, by the way, is manufactured. You know this? Disgust is manufactured. Society manufactures disgust. Now, some things are inherent to the human being. I think human beings will always be disgusted, for example, okay, with cockroaches, with rats, with what else? Feces, defecation, right? With vomit. We always disgusted. That's inherent. But other things, we manufacture the disgust. The society, the high priest of any society will manufacture disgust in the thing that they don't believe in, okay? And they find it disgusting, okay? And so, for example, if you notice today, idolatry is not disgusting, all right, to many people. Because especially if you live with Hindus, right? You see the statues all the time. But if you look at the first generation of the Sahaba, right, when they're trying to rid their society from this, right, there were a lot of, when they saw an idol, when the subject came up, right, they spoke about it with disgust. And they transmitted that disgust and created that disgust. Today, a Muslim does have a disgust in that, but overall, how many times do we pass by a gas station and there's an idol and you say nothing, right? You don't say anything. Or it just doesn't affect you. Because it's also so far from us. The idea of our families returning back to, idolatry is something that doesn't pass by it's not something we imagine. All right, let's read that Instagram comment. Someone put a big comment there. Can I do dhikr astaghfirullah while watching documentaries? Live dramas that are not obscene. It's not going to be, it's not going to make tasbih while doing something of lahu. We can't say that it's forbidden. However, salah on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam should not be done while your mind is in lahu. It's not respectful. Recitation of Quran cannot be done. But can we say, if someone is saying subhanallah, astaghfirullah, while watching something, I don't think that necessarily is going to be just not unlawful. It will, as Ghazali said, it will not be devoid of benefit, and neither will it be the correct focus, right? It won't be 100%, you're not going to get the 100% fruit of the dhikr because you're not 100% focused. But it also will not be devoid of benefit. Right? It will have some benefits. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an update for you. Let's go to the update on the La Cocina final summer barbecue. And what was the theme? Back to school night. Back to school in general. And what did we do? We did, alhamdulillah, mashallah, a drive and many of you participated in delivering for us or donating all sorts of school supplies. And all of these kids received, how many school supplies were distributed?
So around 150 bags we estimated.
150 bags. What is his mic on? You need to bring your mic very close to your mouth. Yeah. Use this. Yeah. No, you got to turn this. Yeah. Turn that and lift it up. Okay? And then come close and speak into the mic. About 150 bags. Now, what was in a bag?
So inside of the bags, is this better?
Close.
This better?
Undo that. Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe the other way. You're tightening it. No, other way. Yeah, like that. There you go. MashaAllah. New generation. Gen Z adjusting a mic. Lift up. Now tighten it. Lift this up. All the way up and tighten this. Okay, now tighten it. And then
Please stand by.
Then you can tighten that one too. Yeah, fix it to your mouth and tighten that one, and then there's another one too there. Inshallah.
MashaAllah.
There you go. Okay, now tell us what were the supplies in a mic? Supplies in the bag.
Taib, inshallah. So inside of each bag, as many of you, alhamdulillah, have seen from our flyer that we've been distributing on our website, on Instagram, on even this podcast, we were requesting multiple supplies such as papers, notebooks, pencils, glue sticks, coloring utensils, etc., etc. Each bag contained one of each object, one of each utensil, alhamdulillah. And we tried to keep it uniform throughout so that each kid did not have this sense of missing out or sense of unfairness in this event, because part of this soup kitchen, community center, and Dawah initiative is in fact the Dawah, and we can't really do that effectively if we don't treat everyone
Very good.
coming in equally with that.
So you said pencil, eraser. What else was in the bag?
Glue sticks,
Glue.
crayons, coloring pencils.
Crayons, colored pencils. Okay, let's take a look at some of these pictures.
Of course.
Bismillah. Yeah, let's go. Next one. All right, so there we have, looks like some clothes were given away too. All right.
So alhamdulillah, these are some of our volunteers. This is during the setup phase of our operation.
Nice.
We decided to do it in the driveway just to replicate the success that we had with the first kickoff event, alhamdulillah. If you remember, it was actually you who suggested to bring out the nice tables that we had and to set up in the driveway.
Very nice,
instead of bringing
very
them
nice.
inside.
So clothes was given out in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next.
Right here is the table. This was during the setup phase as well. We're showing it in chronological order, inshallah.
Okay, good.
This
Next
is
picture.
during the setup, so we have a lot of our supplies just laid out on the tables and the boxes underneath just to organize everything.
Good, next.
This was our activity station, our crafting station. It's been a hit for a while now for these past events. A lot of the kids from the community, that which Allah, alhamdulillah, showed us.
That's great. What kind of
They loved
crafts? Coloring?
They colored, they started doing some folding.
Scribbling?
So that they could, oh yeah, a bunch of scribbling.
Yeah.
Masterpieces
What
for the
else?
fridge.
Making what?
They started making fans because it was a hot day.
Okay, fair enough. Good. Making fans. Next. Oh, that's. I see a grill.
Mm-hmm.
Is that smoke from the grill?
Oh yes.
And what do you guys? What did you guys cook?
So we had everything donated from the community again. Hamburgers, hot dogs, all halal, alhamdulillah. We had a vegetarian option as well, just because we had a request for that in the past. And alhamdulillah, even the non-vegetarians took great benefit from this. They love the baked ziti meatless option.
Baked
that we had.
ziti, hamburgers, hot dogs. Great party for all
Oh,
these
yes.
young kids.
Oh yes.
Next.
And corn.
And corn. All right.
And this is one of our volunteer coordinators with another one as well. This was the water bucket game that Sister Shiza had concocted.
A water bucket game. Explain.
So the kids, from my understanding of it, they were all the way in the back of the lawn. They were tasked with running from one bucket, filled with water,
Yeah.
taking their sponges, filling up with water, and then running to the other side, filling up their bucket, and I believe
See which one has
Exactly.
more water at the
which
end.
one
of
has
the
more
minute or
water at
something.
the end. Very messy, very cooled.
All right. Well, I guess they cooled down because it was a hot day.
Oh yes.
All right. Next.
Oh yeah.
They're the boys grilling, right?
That's the
And
crew.
they get themselves some burgers, right?
Fly.
Huh?
Habib looking fly with the glasses.
Habib with his
Habib,
sunglasses, right? All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's Ali C next to him, and Habib and Edif, all right, with the La Cocina official volunteer shirts there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one.
And some more volunteers.
All right. More volunteers BBQing. Next picture. All
And
right. A
these
lot
are
of people there
servers.
coming to get food. MashaAllah. That's really good. I love the orange umbrellas because it matches with the roof, right? Next. All right. More people coming in, and they're constantly getting in contact with Muslims, right? No, maybe get used to it eventually. All right. And that's the house next door. That blue house is the house next door. And our driveway goes all the way up to their house. And then that's where we put the clothes. So the community members who have clothes, some of you people ask me, how do we start a soup kitchen? Well, very simply. First thing is identify where do the laborers gather in any town? Where are the hard workers who need stuff? The poor. And remind you, there are poor and there are those who are, I would unfortunately have to say, like homeless/zombies. That we try to help them, but we can't always cater to them, right? But there is that middle area who they're very poor, but they work and they have families, right? And those to me are the priority. The other ones, they need more help, right? They need more help. And when they come in and they're high and they're on drugs and they steal and they do all sorts of things like that, and who knows about their hygiene and the diseases that they're carrying, it causes everyone else to leave. So who do I cater to? the majority or the minority. I'm going to try to cater to the one who I can help consistently. And that's all of these families here. And so you see, so you can take the clothes that you don't need anymore, a vacuum that you don't need. You can take $10, go buy a couple slices of pizza, and you can go to the fuqara and distribute it. It takes 5 minutes. Okay, so that's how it is. And the clothes became a part of the program too. And so every week there's free clothes that's distributed. And it's usually the community members' clothes that they don't need anymore. And it's decent clothes. It can't be like ripped and torn and stuff like that. All right, next picture. Again, there's more people taking clothes. Who is that in the green, like, volunteer in there? Which volunteer is that? Who is that?
Man. He came in specifically for this event.
Nice. Okay. Good. Next. There is, again, a line of people forming so that they could see and take what clothes. And you can see the nice racks that the clothes are on. All right. There's nothing allowed in the Cocina that's plastic. Okay. It's got to be wood, cast iron. Right?
Got to follow the theme.
Yep. No junky stuff. I went to Elijah's Promise Soup Kitchen. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to Soup Kitchen. I'm going to do good deeds. I'm like, is this a jail or something? This is the most miserable building I've ever been to. I wanted to leave right away. As soon as I got there, I want to leave. It was the ugliest building. Everything possible choice that they made, let's make the cheapest possible choice with no consideration of human nature. Like no consideration that human beings enjoy being in areas that are actually clean and nice. Like, aren't people humans? Do they ever lose their humanity just because they're poor? Right?
These ice cream truck drivers know how to capitalize off a crowd.
Oh, these ice cream truck drivers must have had a field day.
There's one photo. You can't.
Next.
It's amazing.
This is the side, our side of the house. Okay. That's our side of the house with the white stucco, and you can see the plants growing there in the middle. Okay. And we try to make it an inviting place because it's somewhere you want to be, not somewhere that's just like, cannot tell you how many people, anytime I ask them for advice, they say, just go the cheaper route. Why go the cheaper route? I save money once and I'm miserable for the rest of the time. Right? How about if I spend some money now, but I'm happy every single day? And it's inviting for everybody. That's why it's important to have a concept of aesthetics when you do something, especially that involves other people. Next. There are some kids chalking up the driveway, looks like. Next picture. And again, a line of kids there. What are they doing on the seats?
So this was our musical chairs game that we played.
Musical chairs with what music?
A cappella.
Nasheeds, mashallah. So the kids get to expose themselves to the name of Allah.
Every second.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
that's good. So they played it and they enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Where is Kaler? Back to school, I guess? Yeah.
Kaler's right there.
That kid in the blue,
Main host.
he lives downstairs, actually. He moved in recently with relatives, and he's sort of been somebody who likes to go to these things, and we even took him to the Eid party.
Yeah, he comes to
And the masjid now.
He prays too.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll come in to pray. Yeah.
Remember
mashallah.
once I was sitting down, he's like, "Hey, I want to learn Arabic. Can you teach me it?" And Sheikh Mulad is sitting. I'm like, "Oh, you should ask
Yeah.
him." And then he went up to Sheikh
Mashallah.
Mulad. He's like, "Can you teach me that Arabic stuff? I know alif, ba, ta."
You need to just teach him the first ayah of Al-Fatiha and let him know that for a few months. Right? Next.
Yeah, so after
There
some
he
of
is
the technical
again.
difficulties, different song choices tried to work off, and musical chairs was very popular with them for a few minutes.
Okay. And
These
those
are
are the moms, I guess?
All the parents, yep,
All the parents and the moms?
all
All right.
crowding to the shade.
Crowding into the shade. That part is the high price real estate in these barbecues. I noticed that white fence on the left side of our backyard. Everyone wants to go there.
Then the gazebo.
It's like the first stuff.
I'm seriously thinking of putting an actual playground, a professional playground in the backyard. The thing is, I wait to see how the place is being used. Then if you see a usage, then you can capitalize it rather than trying to create a usage, right? And then failing. All right. So we really took sort of a gamble on because when we started paving the backyard, and we only wanted to pave half of it and make the other half a big driveway. When Asim Osmani was the Emir of MBIC for a long time. The Emir position rotates, but like in all of our heads, he's the elder, right? He's the leader. when we looked at it, we're like, oh, this is nice. Just do the whole thing, right? And he agreed. And he's more of a conservative type, so coming from him, I knew it was the right decision. And it really does look like a beautiful place to have a picnic and stuff, because the patio floor is really nice. The stone is really nice, and it's perfect for having picnics or barbecues.
We had shown some people who had decided to come by and stick around for a bit the day of after they dropped off the corn that we were barbecuing.
Yep.
They were almost always, everyone that comes in to see the backyard is always captivated by the
Yeah, they're always
sights.
captivated. It's such a beautiful backyard. And then we painted everything white, and we start hanging the plants all around. So hopefully, I think what we'll do is maybe we'll think about putting that that playground there, and then actually nailing in benches in the ground, so that the moms could sit there. Not benches that move around and stuff is moved around. I hate stuff that moves around.
There's big trees, so the whole grass area is covered in
It's
shade.
all
Always.
covered, yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
So I think that may be an area for families that come and relax.
Usually where the kids go, the mom will follow.
Yeah.
So if you have a playground, you're gonna have a lot of.
Yeah. And it'll be like a semi-public park in a sense, right? Which that these things don't exist in New Brunswick in any safe area. Okay, next. Again, there are some of the community members
Excited, taking out their phones,
taking pictures
videos
of their
themselves.
kids running around. Okay, and there are the kids' activities table. What are they doing there? They're
Drawing or
There
something.
was a lot of drawing, but then paper planes, that is the mix.
okay. Very nice, very nice. All right, and there are the boys again. They really like taking pictures of themselves. These guys. They got the sunglasses. They got the shirts. They're all coming for the shirts. I'm convinced. They're all coming for the shirts. All right. All right. We got one more set of pictures. Let's go. Bismillah. Again, guys,
I
very
think you
camera
had,
happy.
Uniform.
Very camera happy.
I think
With
Brother
their
Ali had a hand
sunglasses.
in this one.
Okay. Okay. And then again, there are some.
So this one,
Yep.
that's our ice cream station that we had on the left there.
Ice cream station.
Fruits and ice cream station.
Oh.
And that big pile of brown bags there. Alhamdulillah, we had really successful marketing adventure that we had in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
We actually ran out of bags, but we had some school supplies, so we still managed to donate the supplies, and we had an overabundance of them, alhamdulillah. In this specific instance right here, that family all piled it up on their chair, and then they started having fun with the rest of the activities. And
Very
enjoying the
good.
ice cream,
Can you
etc.
tell me what was in those brown bags?
So those brown bags, we had saved some pre-made donated pencil packs that we pencil pouches filled with rulers, filled with, I think one was a protractor, pencils, pens, erasers, etc., etc., and then any extra school supplies that we had from the given by the community. Again, more pencils, coloring utensils, etc., etc.
Good. Good. Next.
Some more kids enjoying the activities.
All right, kids. See, that's the grassy area. I'm saying I think we should put a playground there. I'm like, I'm probably 50% there. Wait, is that a white chair?
Yeah.
So these kids.
Why
they
are there
moved
white
them-
chairs there when we said black? I'm throwing them in the
It was
garbage.
the students.
If
It was
I
the
see
kids
a
today.
white chair again, we have
kids took
one
them from the
kind of
driveway.
chair in the whole building.
No.
Who is guilty of this?
Someone's in
So we
trouble.
had them blocking the driveway. And
That was
the
it.
kids took them.
They wanted to play musical chairs.
That's why they shouldn't exist at all. They should not. Where are they now?
Who's the culprit?
Where are
They
they now?
Most
We
likely
destroyed the white
downstairs.
I have. Uqsimu billah. If I see those white junky chairs, I'm literally taking them myself and putting them on the sidewalk. Okay? One chair. One kind of chair. Ruins the picture. The whole event is ruined. Okay?
We'll let the organizers of the musical chairs know for the future.
No, there's not going to be anything for them to know about because I'm getting rid of them myself. You people are the people. I'm telling you, they have a stinginess. A free chair. We got to keep it. It's ruining everything. Uniformity of all tables and chairs. Okay. We selected a type of chair. That's that black chair there. We then purchased 3 sets of them. We got 30 chairs. Okay. 20 chairs. They're unique looking chairs. They're nice looking chairs. They're weather durable. They're foldable. Okay. And they match. Now, because somebody dropped off a free chair, the bukhl, the stingy, we got to keep it because it's free. Okay. At what expense? Unreal. I'm getting rid of those chairs. Next. Okay. And see that backyard there and 50% there to put some benches there. I guess on the left side.
Yeah.
Because
diagonal
on the
fence?
right side, the spruce trees may fall on the person, right? Correct?
I mean, it depends on how you want it to look. One side's just facing you, facing the other side diagonally. The other side, you could have it parallel with the wall. So it's up to your design philosophy.
So we could put benches there and then a playground in the middle, because I think that's really one of the directions I'm seeing here is kids. Like if we look at this past summer, we did what, 2 or 3 barbecues? 3. The first one was what? A launch barbecue, right?
The kickoff.
Kickoff, in which we bought the MBIC board and all the community leaders, okay? And we had the local community there too, just eating. And then the second barbecue was we realized at that first one is filled with kids. So the second one, the idea came, let's make it a fun day for kids. So we did that. That was a blast. Third one was also built on that. So I think we're getting some momentum here, right? And we should continue that, right? I think we should. We didn't start with the intention of focusing so much on the children, but it seems like the kids are really enjoying coming to these events. And let me tell you something: having spent those few days in Santo Domingo, these kids, they have it really rough, right? Like when I went to Santo Domingo, I think it was a wisdom from Allah, because who are we serving here in this La Cocina? We're serving a Spanish population, Hispanic population. Most of them being from Dominican Republic, from Honduras, different countries like this. Okay, but we never saw it where they came from. I am telling you, New Brunswick is Jannat al-Firdaus on the earth in comparison to some of these homes that I saw in Santo Domingo. And Santo Domingo has it better than Haiti and Honduras and other places like that. Like the Dominican Republic is probably better off than Honduras, Ecuador, these places. And I felt like there has to be a wisdom why Allah has trapped me here in Santo Domingo for 6 days. And it was 6 or 7 days. And I was like, it's not that I learned, I felt. It's not just I learned. I saw, but I also felt. Because after the first 2 days, I didn't tell this story, but I was stuck in Santo Domingo for a while. After the first 2 days, I was in a decent hotel. It would be like 2-star hotel here, right? And I'm like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I don't want to just be burning through my cash, right? And I don't want to do a wire transfer either, because I didn't know how long I'm going to be there. I ended up saying, I'm going to leave this area. I'm going to find the local masjid. And there was a local masjid, pretty big size masjid, right? And I found a room to rent next to the masjid. I rented the room out, right? It was on the 3rd story. And guess what? On the 3rd story, there was a window. The window was not high. It was like a low window. And it was literally just a window. There was no screen. There was a glass that you can open and close. And I'm thinking to myself, are there laws in this country? And there was a chair in front of the window. Any child could have gone on this chair, hey, let's look out the window, opened the push for and fell through. Like, there are no laws in this country, right? Because they're so poor that they're so in need. Who's going to go running around doing inspections, right? It's a luxury. I would say by the 5th day, I started to get testy and antsy, because everything is a hassle. Nothing is smooth. Everything is sweaty. Everything is hot. Everything is just miserable. Okay? And having lived in that area, which was the common people area, not the middle, because the first hotel I took was right next to the U.S. Embassy. That's where Americans will stay, right? And even that was 2 stars maximum 2 stars. When I came to this place was negative stars, right? If there's such a thing as negative 1-star hotel, this was the place I stayed at, right? Nothing worked. The fridge, I don't even know if it worked, right? Nothing worked. It was a whole disaster of an operation. But I stayed there and I felt what the life in these places is like. And I felt more compassion towards the people of who are the migrants, as they call them, right? And that's why I think like to give their kids a better day, just one day of the year, is something. If you make it 3 days a year, like 3 barbecues. If you now have hot chocolate, well, we have to have a fall fest. We got to have a fall fest. We got to have a fall fest, right? How can the autumn go by without a fall? What is a fall fest? All the foods related to the fall. For example, apple pies. Let's have a contest. Apple pie baking contest. Apple cider, right? And then we start giving out the winter clothes. That's the real benefit.
Like ease ourselves into that season. Yeah.
We all donate. Everyone's going to go out, get a new Canada Goose jacket, right? Whatever it's called. What are you going to do with your old jacket? Donate it, right? All your kids are going to get new sneakers for the school year. Already got them. Donate your old ones, okay? Sneakers, maybe because they get old. Scarves, shawls, like, the winter stuff should be donated, okay? So that's the next event, okay? So when was this event? Saturday?
Yes.
Event was Saturday.
This past.
Sunday passed. Monday passed. Tuesday passed. That's 3 days of rest. Okay? Now, get yourself some newbies, some new kids, okay? Some new legs and some new arms, and let's get to the Fall Fest and plan it for the end of October.
Inshallah.
Or middle of October. And apple cider, apple pies, all that stuff. And most importantly, it's the winter clothes that they need to prepare for winter. All right? What is this? It sounds good, right?
We have to do the candy apples.
Candy apples. Oh, my gosh. Definitely got to do candy apples.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this women and children only to ease the burden?
I mean, even if we try to, the parents are going to want to come anyway.
Everyone's gonna- okay,
The
close.
community is so strong, like they're
Close.
going to want
Let's
to come
go.
anyways.
Good.
What about carving pumpkins?
Huh?
Ooh, carving pumpkins.
Carving
yeah.
pumpkin. Now, what do we do with the carving the pumpkin? Carving a
Use my
demon's
technique
face on
for
it?
No faces then. We could do like. Yeah, that's a good point.
Listen, they can
Yeah.
carve a pumpkin as long as it's not associated with like trick or treating.
We can have
Yeah, yeah.
templates and everything, just nothing
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Well, you're gonna have an activity section, so
Inshallah.
but the point of Fall Fest is that there's a unique thing and people do it. So it's not like something that we can't do. We can do that. So there you go. The next event has been born. All right,
On street.
apple cider, apple candy apples, all that stuff. Okay, send a message to the group. Next one. Who is this?
This is a brother from ISNA Relief, actually. He's out-
ISNA Relief was very helpful. Thank you all very much to the ISNA Relief brothers. Okay.
So they recently did an event a day before our event,
Yeah.
and alhamdulillah, he came in just to look at what we were doing and everything, and he was so surprised at how fast we got our supplies out to the community.
MashaAllah.
For him, for a fact, he told me it was around 50 to 100 bags that he gave out. It took him like around an hour or 2 hours.
Amazing.
Ours, we took like 40 minutes max to get rid of the majority of the bags and supplies and everything. So we're just really excited about that and surprised at how fast the community came and everything.
What are you guys sitting on?
That's what I was gonna ask.
The driveway chair.
The driveway chairs.
No.
So what is
The
that
not,
right
they
there?
soon to not exist in our soup
So
kitchen
they were
chairs.
supposed to be only for the driveway, so like people don't park in the driveway, right?
Invisible seat.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You know, mashallah. So they have their the last hurrah and the last time that we're going to see those chairs.
We have video. We have picture proof of you guys.
Next. All right. There is how did we do the marketing? Brilliant job doing the marketing for this event. How? They took containers of food and plastered the poster, the advertisement, on top of the container of food. And then they went around to we know when the workers come in and come out. And most of the families here are the wives and the kids of the workers, right? And so, by the way, let me tell you something. If Trump becomes president and he does one of those ridiculous ICE raids on the fuqara and the masakin, again, our place is going to be a place of refuge for them. We'll hide them like in the Holocaust, right? Because you go picking on. It's one thing you want to pick an enemy. Let's go and attack the Democrats. They can handle themselves. You're going to go pick on these people, right? And then you wonder why you're going to get poverty because you're picking on these folks. Next. There again, we have some families coming around. All right. Nice. On the side of the house. And there again is the backyard. A lot of people there
Lots of new faces.
taking those. Now, are they coming as friends? They all know each other, it looks like. They're all talking to each other and stuff.
Some of them do because of the sheer amount of people that came. Again, between 100 and 200 people we've estimated throughout the event.
Yeah.
All within the first 2 hours, too, subhanAllah, of our 4-hour event. And these people, they just wanted to sit in the shade.
Yeah.
Not all of them knew each other. They just wanted to be in some place near the food, underneath the coolness of the
That's
trees.
good. Maybe they
etc.
can make friends because if they don't go to church, they don't have friends. That's how it is with many communities because they don't work. If they do work, they may work, but it's not a workplace where you're going to make friends per se, right? So this may be a place where people start making friends. Now let's look at the calendar here. And October, we're looking at. Islam, why are you hyperventilating?
Hey,
Yeah.
little old me.
How about October? What about October the 7th or the 14th? How's that?
15. Wait, is it, what's
That's a
the-
Sunday. We got classes on Sundays. October 14th. Why?
We just need to give the community a little bit of a break so that we can do some more marketing again.
The community needs a break from getting free food? The attendees need a break from getting free food. The volunteers need a break?
The reason why
You guys are
this
fine.
Okay.
many people, we can definitely put it on the plans, inshallah.
October 21st.
It sounds a lot better, yes.
October 21st. Okay.
You guys are gonna wake up one day.
How's
Dr.
that?
Shad's gonna say, "Yeah, it's, by the way, tomorrow's the day."
October 21st. Now listen. Habib is there.
I'll come to it.
Who else is there? Okay. Elif.
Alif Muhammad.
The Samir,
Samer. Omar.
Zaid.
All these can start picking up. What is it? It's a list of things that we're going to buy. An Amazon wish list that donors can donate to and buy the stuff themselves, correct? We got to pay for the posters, and the posters have to be handed out well in advance, right? So the first item of duty is to make the poster. Because we don't need to discuss the date. We already discussed the date. Actually, just double check there's nothing else going on in NBIC. Let me check the NBIC schedule. And maybe like something that would take us away as a community, but or disallow us to do it. Okay? So we double check that. Make the posters. Make the Amazon wish list. Are we grilling or no? It's not the season to grill, is it? Fall
might
is
be
not a
starting
grilling
to grill.
season, right? Correct?
The weather might.
Fall is not a grilling. It's not the vibe. What are we going to eat? It's just not. There's not going to be food. Is it apple pie, corn? We could do corn, right? We'll figure that out. Okay.
Of course.
But October, who? What did we say?
21st.
21st. Okay, so you said it yourself. Good. So there's no event here.
I have to choose one of the
I'm going to
dates.
add it here. La Cocina Fall Fest. Okay. Good.
That's what Dr. Shad is good at, even with MBIC. Like, if you say, I don't want to do it, man, Dr. Shad
He
he
says
already
it's going-
announces
it's
the
gonna
date.
Khalas, it's announced.
I'm leaving the event.
It's absolutely, it's announced. Khalas. It is announced. Khalas.
100
Okay.
plus witnesses as well.
And we
100
have
plus, mashallah.
1, 2, 3 upright witnesses. And how many on the stream?
MashaAllah.
All upright witnesses right here. Okay. Having a staff meeting on the stream here. Last picture? We done with pictures or one more?
Yeah, this is the last one.
All right. Very good. Very good.
Some
Very good.
delegations being delegated.
Okay. Now, first thing is now to get. I think at the Fall Fest there should be chai. We should introduce them to chai.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, Ali, see you got the chai. Also, Yusuf Chuck has a chai company now.
That'd be a good
Also, like we had the coffee table at MBIC, we could bring that operation over. Okay, that would be really fun.
It would be a nice NBIC collaboration.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you guys very much. Now let's move. It's now 2:43. We have one small piece of Muslim news. This was news of the Ummah, by the way. Okay, we are part of the Ummah, so our news is news of the Ummah. Let's take something else too. Another part of our Ummah is ISNA, and this time Chicago's WGN 9 all right, has covered the nation's largest Muslim convention. Rosemont. They always do it in the Rosemont in Chicago because it's a central area. All flights go to Chicago. It's very easy to have it, and they have a massive convention. In the United States, there's a conference called ISNA. Okay, it's one of the biggest ones, and usually 20 to 30,000 Muslims show up at ISNA. Okay, I remember 98, 99, 96, 97, 98, 99. ISNA was just like huge. People love to go there. And Hamza Yusuf was the main speaker all the time. This time, I believe it, I never went to ISNA because I was always studying in the summertime in a different country usually. And then I would come back. Okay. And so when I come back, ISNA is like the next weekend when school starts. So I never went because I just spent the whole summer abroad. Usually that's how I was. Now, why is this relevant? Because they are now, this was their 60th year as an organization. So, as you know, fellow Muslims of ours, we got to commend them for their longevity. Every community needs a space with numbers that they come together and be energized, said Imam Zaid Shakir in the keynote speech. He's the co-founder of American Islamic University, Zaytuna College. It's like a family reunion. I see people I have known since they were little babies, and now they're contributing to society. Because now these little kids are now the leaders. All right. The weekend is filled with educational discussions. Keynote speakers from all across the globe talked about Rohingya crisis, the Palestinian conflict. All right. All right, so that's it. There's no, this is, wow, I mean, that's it. Zero. Come on, author here. Nashimia Malik. Did you text this in? Right?
He gave up mid-article.
That's it. The keynote speakers and scholars talked about global issues ranging from Rohingya to Palestine conflict. All right. Quote from Imam Zaid, we don't have a chance to look at the forest because we are so caught up in the trees. We don't get the opportunity to look at the big picture. The convention takes place at the Donald Stevenson Center in the Rosemont, September 1, September 4th. She texted the article in. Do your job. Give us some meat. Anyway, here I am thinking we're going to see something, significant. But oh, how was it? MashaAllah. Nice. Very nice. MashaAllah. SubhanAllah. Very nice. All right. One day ago, again, we'll close with this, is the rules, the French rules. I just want to see how this is going to go down in history. Banning the abaya. So how are you going to ban trench coats? Do you think our clothes in Islam has to be a certain ethnic group? Okay. Adiant, come on in. You think our clothes has to be a certain ethnic clothes for them to ban the abaya? Right? The government said they're banning the abaya in schools. It gladdened the political right. Okay. Things are going well this morning. There's no incident for the moment. We will continue all day to be vigilant. What? Be vigilant. Be vigilant about abayas. There's a generation going to grow up and say this is sort of absurd, right? This degree of emotion dedicated to that. The Prime Minister, Elizabeth Bourne, she visited schools in northern France, and she added there are certain numbers where the girls arrived in abayas. And then the girls were talked to, and they were asked to remove it. France is really the most vile. These people are vile. Americans, I would say, they're just crazy. They've just gone crazy. The Americans haven't gone nuts with their gender stuff, and they're looking like demons. They gone nuts. But they're not. This is crazy. This is just like something's wrong with you. We will have discussions with them. We will sit down with them. Oh, my gosh. And use educational approaches to explain that there is a law that is being applied. So wait a second. So when Taliban goes and says girls have to wear hijab in schools, for example, they'd have marches in the streets. So what is it? Really, what is the difference? The hard left has accused the government of Emmanuel Macron of using the abaya, a ban, to compete against Marie Le Pen's far-right National Party and show that he is like right-wing too. Okay? Well, sort of makes sense that that's his motive. Okay, Minister Gabriel Attal, right? He identified 513 schools that have been affected by the ban. There are around 45,000 schools in France with 12 million pupils going back to school Monday. He said work had been done ahead to start the school year to identify in which schools the ban could present a problem. Adding that trained school inspectors would be placed in some schools. An inspector. Okay. Do you think that this is going to remove iman from people's hearts? يريدون ليطفئوا نور الله والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون. And in Warsh, والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون. There is a difference between what happens in school and what happens outside school. What happens in school is my business, he said. I'm not sure it's a miracle solution that will solve all school problems, but I think it merits testing. You think this is going to solve a problem? That they can't wear abaya? A law introduced in 2004 banned the wearing of signs or outfits which students ostensibly show a religious affiliation. These includes crosses, kippas, and Islamic headscarves. Unlike the headscarf, the abaya is a long and baggy garment worn to comply with Islamic beliefs on modest dress. It occupied a gray area and had no ban until now. So recently I heard, check this out, that a non-Muslim fashion designer is designing the same effect, but in an outfit that's not abaya, like a jacket or something like that. But it has the same effect. And they're going to donate like 10,000 of them. Not even a Muslim coming to the aid of these people and going to give them free clothes. Right? And then let's see if someone covered that. Fashion designer.
For the
what's that?
Abaya, like the French.
That's the thing. There's no. They're trying to ban something that has no set definition or had.
Like there's a rasam maybe like max.
Yeah.
But it's probably like napis at best.
There's no
It's like
actual definition for this.
so easy to get around.
Yeah, it's too easy to get around. Same with hijab. You can at least put a hood and a scarf. What if I want to wear a hood over my hair, and I want to wear a scarf over my chest? Right. So what are you gonna say? Are you gonna ban hoods in school now too? How many rules for clothes now? Okay, what if you ban a hood? What if I wear a hat and a turtleneck? It's sort of getting absurd with them. Here it is. Nike. Nike designer tells French schoolgirls to defy Islamic dress that they will design for them abaya. Nike. Okay. Fashion influencer Saida Haq has designed variations of abayas and has now been taken up by Nike. Okay. I have to subscribe to read the article. I'll pass. All right. I wonder how many people actually subscribe to these different. All right, here let's try this. This link here. No, I can't find the article, but you get the point. To Nike, it looks like is sponsoring this. They're going after it, all right, and they're supporting it. Okay. See if you can find it.
Some Telegraph are you looking
Huh? I was looking at the Telegraph.
at? Want me to subscribe to? I'm subscribing to you guys.
Let's just type it in here. Sorry for all the listeners who are waiting. Nike. Abaya.
I'm saying Modi is renaming India Bharat. Is that true?
What?
There's a big debate about it. That actually
He's renaming it what?
he's changing the name back to like what they actually they call it. It's Bharat. Is that Bharat? Yeah.
Baharat.
That's like what they call it. I'm pretty sure.
Might not actually be,
Turkey situation, I guess.
but it might not be easy to pronounce.
Bharat.
Just they don't care, I guess, right? Okay. I can't really find it, to be honest with you, but it's in the Telegraph. Did you find it? All right, we take 2 questions, then we go for our dua. All right. Let's take a few questions and then we go to the dua. All right, what do we have here? Read me that one.
Why do the Malikis consider free mixing that involves talking and looking to be haram to be makruh? Doesn't that open the door for graver sins to occur?
If there is a reason to believe that, then we would forbid it. If there's a reason to hold that, then you'd forbid it on the basis of closing the door of those sins. Next question. While I open up here.
Someone's asking, how do you deal with jealousy and possessiveness in marriage?
Jealousy in marriage is the glue is the magnetic attraction in marriage. It's like it's keeping the family together. So the Prophet ﷺ never blamed al-ghayra, even when it led to the woman doing something excessive. Like, what is the ruling in Islam of throwing food on the ground? Forbidden. What is the ruling in Islam of, let's say, maybe making an awkward situation in front of the guests? Also forbidden, right? So did not say to Aisha, come and learn that it was her day. She, in her house, the Sahaba were being hosted, right? In her apartment. And then she came and found that one of the other Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, came and brought food, a basket of bread. So she came in there and she spilt it over in front of the Prophet. Okay? The Prophet laughed and he said, your mother got jealous. So the Prophet, if she had done wrong, would have been obligated to tell us that this was wrong. So sometimes the person may do something wrong, but for a good reason, and you want to nurture that reason. What else? What is the ruling if we took this book on with deen in it, forget the Quran, just a book of deen, and threw it out of anger? Is this not a sacrilegious, blasphemous act? Right? Yet did not Sayyidina Musa take the alwah and smash them? But why? And Allah never blamed him in the Quran. But why did he do this? Because he saw shirk. He was so enraged that his ummah had gone that far astray in such a short time, right after Allah showed him the greatest miracle that happened to a group of people on the face of the earth at that time, and probably ever. There are individual miracles that happened, but a miracle to happen to that massive group of people, and the most glorious, fall of a tyrant. They all witnessed with their own two eyes the Fir'aun go down. Right? The most glorious fall of a tyrant that you'll ever see. And they all got to watch it. They all got to watch the miracle and live it. They walked through the bottom of the Red Sea. Then they finally go, and a few weeks later, they settle, and Sayyidina Musa goes to get the revelation from Allah. 40 days later, you're committing shirk. You're not even neutral. You didn't even just not showing gratitude. You went down. After that miracle, it would drive any human being insane, utterly insane. Okay? It would drive any human being utterly insane. Let's take a look at this. Let's say you're married. You're poor for many years. You finally get rich. You buy your wife a house. You buy her a sports car. Okay? You then travel. You save her life. She's about to die. You save her life because of the new money that you have. You give her medicine, you save her life. You buy her a house, you buy her a sports car. You then say, I'm going to work. Monday must come around. You go to work Monday. You come home early from work on Monday. You find her with another guy. Would you not lose your mind? Absolutely, utterly lose your mind, right? So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam got angry for the right reason, okay? And he did something that would have otherwise been haram. And yet, at the same time, Allah Ta'ala never blames him for it. So therefore, we get to learn a lesson from this. If someone's motivation is correct, and should be increased, and encouraged, but the expression is wrong, we don't blame the expression, right? Did not Sayyidina Musa also punch an angel? Is in one narration, right? Angel of death came to take him, and he punched him, right? You can't punch an angel, right? Some people say, well, Sharia doesn't apply to angels. But that's the thing with ghaira and jealousy. It's very important to allow it to flourish in a family as long as there's not excessive harms. Like, is there excess? Probably 1% of people are a bit excessive to the point that it becomes almost like a mental disorder. Very similar to muwaswas. You know, someone's muwaswas always believes that they don't have wudu. Likewise, it could be muwaswas, always believing that, oh, they're going to commit zina, right? Oh, they're going to cheat on me. Like, they're at that point, you have a mental issue. But general ghaira, like someone not wanting his wife to be in a position to be looked at, that's normal. Or a wife not wanting her husband to be in that situation where another woman could distract him from her. That's fine. All right, here's a question from Maryam. We need nasiha on what approach should be taken towards those youth students as their teacher when the female students were forcefully enrolled in an Islamic intensive program by their parents, and they're only there to hang out with their friends of the same age. Well, so if I understand correctly, a group of girls, their parents forced them to go to an Islamic event, but they don't want to go, but they want to just hang out with their friends. You try to encourage them to pay attention, but nonetheless, I think that being there itself for youth is enough, right? Physically being there, as long as they're not doing munkars, right? Then physically being there, even if they're not paying attention, is better than nothing. Because for youth, they oftentimes they don't have a sense of perspective and a sense of what's truly important, right? And as you grow older, that increases. This is a pretty scary thing. You have absolute certainty that certain things are useless, whereas in your youth you thought they were really important. Like, how many of us, you probably still remember, it's really important for youth to be cool amongst their friends, right? But as time goes on and you start seeing what actually benefits in life, and you become now entering into your 4th and 5th decade of life, you start realizing that that stuff is absolutely of no importance. In perspective, seeing that there's 30, 40, 50 years you're going to live afterwards, you're not going to sacrifice studying for classes just to be with some friends of yours, right? So in the beginning, when you're young, you have sympathy for that. You know that you feel that it's important for a kid to be cool with his friends, right? But as life progresses, you develop absolute knowledge that that's not important, and that you can't sacrifice being cool with studying, right? You cannot sacrifice the studying for being cool, right? No sacrifice whatsoever. Nor deen, guarding the deen. And you become almost more and more like rigid. It's like, it's not rigid out of emotion. It's like based on absolute knowledge. This is bad for you, right? So I can't budge. Now that I have certainty, I can't budge. And you become now, the cycle has repeated now, where the kids and the parents, they don't see the same world anymore, because the parent has way more knowledge of life experience and is absolutely certain that this is useless. But for the kid, it's a big deal. Is it permissible to make a transaction saying, I will order this thing for you and then sell it to you when I receive it? So wait, but you're not taking the money from them yet, right? You're not taking the money from them yet. Well, let me review the conditions of Salam, because Salam has a lot of conditions. Where's the, while we're at it, we might as well just do it now. Where's Amrusi? Oh, I took it home. Where's Amrusi here? The condition, Salam has conditions, right? And Salam is that you pay up front for something that is not yet grown. For example, a crop that hasn't grown yet, or something like that. Let me look up the conditions of Salam and get back to you on this. Pove E says, is it dangerous to keep yourself happy for too long? No, we have shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Constantly shukr of what Allah has given us. Constantly tafa'ul, optimism of what Allah will bring us in the future. And that's what feeds a person's state and it feeds a person's mood. Okay? There's no reason for anybody to, to feel that that's dangerous. No, that's the default of a mu'min, is shukr, tafa'ul, things like that. Our credit card's haram. The contract itself is valid in the Hanafi school, but the paying of the riba is forbidden. Okay. All right, let us now, what did I want to do? Dua of Wednesday, but first I wanted to go over Arkview again. Could you go to that slide again real quick? We've totally revamped Arkview again, for the first time. We've revamped it, and now let's go to the next, there you go. Good, so Arkview now consists of 4 tracks, a plus track, a basic track, a kids track, and an Arabic track. The Arabic track is now run by Sheikh Mahdi Lak. He's extremely enthusiastic about Arabic, okay? And it's 3 hours a week. It's a 2-hour lecture, and then there's a review session later in the week. Okay, so you'd be doing 3 hours of Arabic a week. Now, for the plus classes, we've added the intermediate book in each madhab. So Hanbali fiqh has an intermediate now. Shafi'i fiqh has Matan Abi Shuja' now. Maliki fiqh has Azziya now. And Hanafi fiqh, I can't remember what the book is. But the Ahnaf, you all would know. Right? Huh? I don't know yet.
Because he did, Sheikh Imran is doing it, right?
Yeah. Sheikh Imran is teaching our Hanafi fiqh. Now, the kids track is all by itself now, too. So what did we add to kids? Hifz. That's the big thing we added. Hifz and Nurani Qada. Along with the fiqh class and the seerah class. The Mu'in teaches the seerah class with slides and tells the story. And then basic is essentially your journey to learning the fundamentals of Aqidah and fiqh and hadith. And also the plus track has Sheikh Nuh Saunders has a tafsir course where he teaches directly from Ibn Jawzi's tafsir in Arabic. That's the point, is to get into the Arabic books. All right, next slide. All right, kids. The kids class is always one of the most important ones, and when it comes to the kids, they're again, it's hifz. We've now hifz. You have 2 options. There's a UK timing and an America timing. So the Hafiz Sahib will teach in the morning, and he'll teach again at night. And it depends on when you could do it. So we want to make it accessible for everybody to be able to attend the classes. And there are 4 days a week that there will be hifz. And that's really important because many people try to do hifz, but they don't know exactly how to go about finding somebody to do it. Well, we found it for you. Next is plus, and again, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, Hanbali, all the mazhabs, Aqidah, Jawharat al-Tawheed is now taught there. Matan al-Iji is being taught there. All right, so we have 200 level classes, many 200 level classes now. Sheikh Nuh Saunders' tafsir of Ibn al-Jawzi is being taught there now. Okay, and mashallah, okay, keep going. I'll tell you what's next afterwards. All right, the Quran Academy is under the kids program. Okay, so skip that one because we mentioned that's right. It's under the kids program. Arabic we mentioned already. I don't know if I had mentioned it, but now Sheikh Mahdi Lak is taking over 3 hours of Arabic a week. All right, and that's it. Hanbali Aqidah is up already on Arkview Basic, so just sign up to Arkview Basic, and yeah, put that up while we're at it. Right. There is Sheikh Yusuf bin Sadiq teaches Hanbali Aqidah. It's already up. The whole thing's pre-recorded. So if you get the basic bundle, okay, you could start watching it. And I watch it. I'm going to put some clips up for everybody, but I watched the whole thing in one sitting. It was the whole course in one sitting. Yeah. I got addicted to it. He is good, right? He is good. And so I watched the whole thing in one sitting. Now, what are the subject matters? The divine attributes, tawassul, istighatha. The questions people have. Ibn Taymiyyah's place in the madhab. Okay? Let's go over these pictures real quick, too. There's Sheikh Mahdi Laq, teaching Arabic, and he's teaching Shafi'i fiqh. Okay? Sheikh Imran Ahmed, he's our local here, and he's our Hanafi, head of the Hanafi department for us. All right. There's Sheikh Shams Tamiz. Shams Tamiz is a young mutakallim. He really is a mutakallim. He knows his kalam inside out, and he'll be teaching a 200 level class on Arkview Plus. He'll be teaching Matn al-Iji, okay, and Ash'ari Aqidah. There is Hafiz Junaid, who is the Hifz teacher, and he'll be teaching 4 times a week, okay. And that's Sheikh Usama, who's teaching Jawharat al-Tawheed, and he's also teaching Shafi'i fiqh. He's teaching Matn Abi Shuja', 200 level Shafi'i fiqh. Sheikh Nuh Saunders is your tajweed teacher. All right, and he's graduated many people from his tajweed class solely on Arkview. They meet on Saturdays, and he teaches there. He's also going to be teaching tafsir, reading directly from the Arabic of Ibn al-Jawzi. Okay, so we gotta be paying. Here's Muzammil Ahmed, Sheikh Muzammil Ahmed, Hanbali fiqh. He teaches Matn al-Khuqir, and there's another Matn that he's be teaching too. So we have a 100 level and a 200 level Matn in fiqh, Hanbali fiqh. Of course, there's our man Mu'een, who's going to kill us for using this picture. Basically, his LinkedIn picture from like 4 years ago. But he does the seerah, and he has slides, and he teaches the kids seerah through there. All right. Muhammad Ali, Maliki fiqh teacher. He's going to be teaching Izziyah 200 level course for on Arkview Plus. We get into muamalat. All right. Thank you all very much. Let's go to the dhikr now. Let's go to Hizb al-Nasr. Trapper Keepers. Yeah. I think that's the day that you weren't here.
Yeah, I was busy.
Let me test this. Alian, do you know what a Trapper Keeper is? No? Harun? No? This is a big part of our life. Trapper Keeper is basically a thing that you used to get in school. You get it before school started. And everyone would come in school and have a neat looking different Trapper Keeper. And it's basically, all it is it's a 3-ring binder. You put folders in it, okay? And then it Velcros shut, so nothing falls out, okay? Every year, first thing in September, people whip out their Trapper Keeper, and your status, your hierarchy in the class is largely determined by that, right? What kind of Trapper Keeper you got, right? So, huh? I've always had good Trapper Keepers. Yeah. I've always had good Trapper Keepers. Yeah. لا إله إلا الله الملك الحق المبين 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 بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا وكان عند الله وجيها في الدنيا والآخرة ومن المقربين وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله كما قال عيسى بن مريم للحواريين من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. أعيذ نفسي بالله تعالى من كل ما يسمع بأذنين ويبصر بعينين ويمشي برجلين ويبطش بيدين ويتكلم بشفتين. حصنت نفسي بالله الخالق الأكبر من شر ما أخاف وأحذر من الجن والإنس وأن يحضرون. عز جاره وجل ثناؤه وتقدست أسماؤه ولا إله غيره. اللهم إني أجعلك في نحور أعدائي وأعوذ بك من شرورهم وتهيونهم ومكرهم ومكائدهم. أطفئ نار من أراد بعداوة من الجن والإنس. يا حافظ يا حفيظ يا كافي يا محيط سبحانك يا رب ما أعظم شأنك وأعز سلطانك. تحصنت بالله وبأسماء الله وبآيات الله وملائكة الله وأنبياء الله ورسل الله والصالحين من عباد الله. حصنت نفسي بلا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. اللهم احرسني بعينك التي لا تنام واكنفني بكنفك الذي لا يرام وارحمني بقدرتك علي فلا أهلك وأنت ثقتي ورجائي. يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا دارك الهالكين يا دارك الهالكين يا دارك الهالكين. اكفني شر كل طارق يطرق بليل أو نهار إلا طارقا يطرق بخير إنك على كل شيء قدير. بسم الله أرقي نفسي من كل ما يؤذي ومن كل حاسد الله شفائي. بسم الله رقيت اللهم رب الناس أذهب الباس اشفي أنت الشافي وعافي أنت المعافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقما ولا ألما. يا كافي يا وافي يا حميد يا مجيد ارفع عني كل تعب شديد واكفني من الحد والحديد والمرض الشديد والجيش العديد واجعل لي نورا من نورك وعزا من عزك ونصرا من نصرك وبهاء من بهائك وعطاء من عطائك وحراسة من حراستك وتأييدا من تأييدك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام والمواهب العظام. أسألك أن تكفيني من شر كل ذي شر إنك أنت الله الخالق الأكبر. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والحمد لله رب العالمين ظاهرا وباطنا وعلى كل حال يا أرحم الراحمين. Inshallah, we take a few minutes for dua. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Kalbe şiir